Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Rrør Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines. Buhari condemns killing of Labour Party senatorial candidates. FG orders immediate decongestion of correctional centers. Nigerian Communications Commission says no network shutdown during election. NCDC alerts Nigerians of a deadly virus. Heavy security as INEC begins distribution of sensitive materials in FCT and other states. Lastly, on sports, MPFL El Kanemi Warriors to appoint new head coach. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned in strong terms the gruesome killing of the Labour Party senatorial candidate for Enugu East Senatorial District, Chief Oyibo Chukwu, and his personal aide. The president, in a release issued on Friday by his media advisor, Femi Adesina, believed the perpetrators of these inglorious acts in his community, Enugu South, local government area of Enugu State, have no respect for human life and dignity, and therefore deserve the wrath of natural and divine justice. The president affirmed his avowed commitment to an election that is devoid of violence and rancor. He reminded all political actors that it is the choice of the electorate that counts, and therefore all eligible Nigerians should boldly exercise their civic right without any fear of intimidation. The president therefore directed security agencies to track down the culprits of this heinous crime, just as he commiserated with the families of the victims, the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, and the Labour Party. President Buhari prayed for the repose of the souls of the deceased and comfort for those who mourn. Going on to the next story. The federal government has ordered the immediate decongestion of correctional facilities across the federation in line with the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 to reduce overcrowding. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola gave the order at the decoration of the 13 newly promoted Assistant Controller Generals, ACGs, and 57 controllers of the service and the commissioning of 30 operational vehicles yesterday in Abuja. The minister said the NCOs should go into discussions with state government on how to immediately decongest the facilities. There has been an upsurge of inmates in recent times, and 3/4 of the inmates in custody are awaiting trial. Represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shuaib Balgore, he congratulated the new ranks and urged the Controller General of the NCOs, Aliru Nababa, to direct all controllers in charge of correctional facilities to decongest the facilities as stipulated by the Act. May I remind the Controller General to direct all the controllers in charge of the correctional facilities across Nigeria. Aregbesola further told state controllers of the prisons to ensure that their facilities are not operating above capacity, and they can do this even if it means rejecting inmates brought to them as long as the center is already filled up to avoid congestion. Going on to the next story. The Nigerian Communications Commission has disclosed that there will be no telecommunication shutdown on Saturday for the general elections. The agency, while debunking a viral report that there is a plan to shut down all networks during the poll, urged Nigerians, particularly bank customers, to disregard it and promise that internet transactions will be efficient during that day. The NCC said the attention of the Nigerian Communications Commission has been drawn to fraudulent and misleading information circulating in some social media platforms, insinuating there is a planned shutdown of all telecom networks and relevant ICT units, including online transfer facilities of the banks, with effect from today, February 23, 2023. The Nigerian public, consumers of telecommunication services, and all bank customers are advised to ignore these or similar messages that insinuate deliberate network destruction or shutdown or disruption of services in the Nigerian telecom network. According to the Commission, it has received assurance from all service providers, and there will be no deliberate shutdown or disruption on election day. Moving on to the next story. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has alerted Nigerians of another deadly virus, Marburg virus disease, recently confirmed in Equatorial Guinea. While there are worries currently in Equatorial Guinea over the outbreak of the disease, the NCDC is concerned that the dangerous disease might find its way into Nigeria anytime soon due to the gatherings and travel associated with upcoming national elections. The health organization stressed that the likelihood of importation to Nigeria is high due to the direct flights between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea and the country's proximity to Nigeria. News agency understands that the first case of the Marburg virus disease was confirmed in Equatorial Guinea on February 13, 2023. The viral infection is said to have also killed 9 persons in the country. According to WHO, preliminary tests after the death of at least 9 people in the country's western Kienten province turned out positive for viral hemorrhagic fever. Equatorial Guinea health authorities sent samples to the Institute Pasteur Reference Laboratory in Senegal with support from WHO to determine the cause of the disease after an alert by district health officials on February 7, 2023. From that story, we'll go to the next one. There is tight security at the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The commission is currently distributing sensitive and non-sensitive materials of Saturday's election to the registration area centers. Sensitive materials such as beavers, ballot papers, result sheets, among others, arrived at the office from the FCT INEC office in the early hours of the day. Chairmen of the various political parties were on ground to monitor the distribution of the materials. Speaking on the distribution, INEC's Assistant Area Officer Admin in the Council, Veronica John, said there were 1,940 polling units across the Council and that the distribution of the sensitive materials from the registration area centers to the polling unit would commence at midnight. She said the Commission was satisfied with the security arrangements in the area, adding that all the stakeholders, including party representatives, would monitor the distribution. According to her, accreditation and voting would go on simultaneously in all the polling units. She said the office had received technical staff that would attend to any issues that might occur with beavers machines. Going on to Borno State. Irate youth on Thursday evening attacked the convoy of Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum in Kaleri community, Maiduguri, the state capital. The attackers destroyed 3 vehicles in the convoy. A report by Zagazola Makama, a counterinsurgency expert in the Lake Chad region, said the governor was returning from Mafa, his hometown, when the attack occurred. Sources told Makama that a vehicle conveying the press crew, the engineers, as well as 1 other were smashed. Few days ago, Irate youth attacked campaign convoy of the governor's wife, Ajia Falmata Zulum, in the axis of Dalori in Konduga. 8 vehicles were destroyed during the attack. To the next story, coming from Lagos. No fewer than 2 people were injured on Thursday in an attack on the convoy of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the House of Representatives, Lagos Mainland Constituency, Segun Gbayi. The attack by the yet-to-be-identified gunmen happened in the Makoko area, Yaba, Lagos. The gunmen also attacked the security escort attached to the convoy, opened fire and vandalized their vehicles. However, Gbayi escaped the attack unoffed. Reacting, Gbayi said the attack was to prevent members and supporters of the party from exercising their franchise in tomorrow's election. This attack was violently carried out to discourage us from exercising our political franchise, he said. Moving on to the next story from Kaduna State. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has deployed 4,000 personnel to provide security during Saturday's presidential and national elections in Kaduna State. This is contained in a statement on Friday by DSC Habib Badamasi, spokesman of the NCDC Kaduna Command. Habib told that the commandant, Mr. Idris Ada, explained that the massive deployment of personnel in the state was to ensure safety of lives and property. The commandant appealed to residents to come out in mass to exercise their franchise without fear. He said that the command had constituted a monitoring team that would go around the 23 local government areas of the state to ensure security of voters and election officials. Ada said that the team would also track and arrest anyone involved in election malpractice. From Kaduna, we go to the foreign story. The United States announced $2 billion in additional security assistance for Kiev on Friday, the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The aid includes ammunition for the HIMARS precision rocket system, 155mm artillery rounds, drone and counter-drone system, mine-clearing equipment, and funding for training and maintenance, the Pentagon said. Items in the package which does not feature some capabilities that Ukraine is seeking, such as Western warplanes and large-range missiles, will be purchased from the defense industry instead of drawn from U.S. stocks, meaning they will take no longer to get to Kiev's forces. Lastly, on the World News this hour is a sports story. El Kanemi Warriors will announce the commission and composition of a new technical crew after the general election. The Maiduguri club sacked head coach Abubakar Hassan Mai Zoberu and his assistants on Thursday. Zoberu was sacked following the club's insipid performance in the Nigeria Premier Football League this season. Chairman of the club, Sharif Bukar, told Daily Post that a suitable coach will be appointed after the general election. You can see it's election time now, but I can assure you we will appoint a good coach for the team after the election, Bukar stated. As earlier reported by Information, Brazilian Rafael Everton and Henry Makawa have been shown interest in the club's vacant coaching position ever since the sack of the former coach. That ends the world news from BGI TV today. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari condemned killing of Labour Party senatorial candidates. FG orders immediate decongestion of correctional centers across the nation. Nigeria Communication Commission says no network shutdown during poll. Finally, on sports, El Kanemi Warriors to appoint new head coach after election. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babangagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo. _22 for advert placements for goods and services coverage of events and functions. Please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. Before we go, your PVC permanent voters card can change Nigeria tomorrow. Let's make it a franchise with passion, without fear. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Jumat Mufida to all faithful Muslims all around the world.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just into BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.